Hey everyone, this is Elias from RevMatch Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at 5 likes and 5 maybe not so much likes of the 2022 Kia Sorento X Line. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So I want to first discuss the 5 things I didn't quite like about the Sorento. The first thing is the tiny trunk area. So this is kind of one of those things that when you have a third row SUV on a smaller, essentially vehicle, something's going to suffer, and that is the trunk area. When you have the back seats up, it's extremely tiny. My camera bag barely fit in there. So just be aware of that. It's only when you bring down the seats where you get a large amount of space in the back, and it makes it actually useful. So grocery runs, expect you to have that seat down in order for you to fit groceries. That means that it's only technically a 4-seater because you have that captain's chair in the middle. Just be aware of that. If you're loading it up with people, make sure they don't bring any book bags or any luggage or anything with them other than themselves, because you may not have much space, if any. So yeah, that's kind of my first one where I was a little bit let down by the trunk area of the Sorento. Now that brings me to my second point, which is the third row. Yeah, again, when we're dealing with a third row SUV and we're dealing with a smaller, essentially frame, something's going to suffer, and that does suffer in the third row. The other thing as well is that there really isn't much leg height, so to speak, for the third row. So your knees are going to kind of be up to your face, so to speak, because of that raised floor in the back. Honestly, it's one of the things, again, Kia, you want to check off that box that say this is a third row SUV, but it really suffers in doing so. Honestly, make it 2 rows, front and back, and have a massive trunk area. That would be the better option. And don't have us pay for the premium of a third row SUV. Yeah, that was kind of one of those things where it's a pet peeve of mine with these smaller third row SUVs. Now, the next one is the drive modes. So the drive modes in this don't make a difference. It's just the throttle response always feels like it's stuck on sport. So just be aware, especially if you're using something like snow, where you want slower throttle inputs, you're gonna have to have a lot of control with that right foot, because any little input really gets recognized, and it's really, really responsive, which is great when you want it to in sport mode, but not in eco mode, not in normal mode, or in snow mode as well. So yeah, this was one of those things where sometimes I don't want to be driving like a bat out of hell, so to speak. Sometimes you just want to have a less responsive vehicle. Unfortunately, these modes don't do anything. Now, the fourth thing is the rear keyless entry. So one of my tests that I love to do is have the key fob in my pocket and reach for the rear handle and see if it will unlock. Unfortunately, it does not. And with this being a family vehicle, I wish it had that. It's such a small thing, but when you're carrying things and you got kiddos and you want them to go in the vehicle first, because typically that's what I do, want to get them in first, it's kind of hard because now you're having to either let them go or put some things down and then unlock it and then open up the rear. So it would be nice, again, with this being more family oriented or more people, to be able to have that possibility. So in this case, you do have to push the button up front so that it unlocks the rear and you're then able to get in. Yeah, small thing, but you'd be surprised how much better the experience is when you do have that function. Speaking about experience, my 5th one, no wireless Apple CarPlay. Yeah, this is kind of a shame. I was hoping from the previous model to this that we'd have that, but we don't. So I was having to plug in with the cable and then put it in my wireless charging area. Yeah, that was kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, there's no point of having the wireless charger if I'm still needing to plug in for data communication, meaning Apple CarPlay. So that was kind of a bit of a letdown. I did have it without the cable because I did forget it one time, and the pseudo Apple CarPlay was not that good. It was a little underwhelming, actually really underwhelming, to be honest with you. Now, enough of that about that. Let's actually tell you guys what I really loved about the Kia Sorento. The first thing is the lights. The lights look incredible. They are such a cool design. My favorite is actually not when they're on, but when they're off. They just blend in so well with that grille. That was probably one of my favorite design cues for the Sorento. So yeah, definitely it wins the award for the looks department on the front end. Speaking about looks, you get in and those seats are just incredible. The way that they look is just spectacular. This is extremely high end, you know, luxury looks in a Kia. Yes, I know, get beyond the badge. Beyond the badge is something you have to do with Kia. It's not what it was before. It's just the luxury in this is really, really nice. So definitely one of my favorite seats that I've really been in. Now, with those seats though, some really cool tech to them, which I really love. And that is the USB ports on the side of the actual front seats. So your back passengers that are in the captain's chairs can actually plug in literally directly into your seat and charge their devices. Nice little touch. You don't have to have, you know, plug way low. It's at a pretty good height that you don't have to run a large cable. So definitely like that little detail. Speaking about details, the next thing I really loved was the AC vent. Yeah, you're probably wondering, well, that makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense in this Kia, and that's because it has kind of these dual stacked vents, and they work really well. The top one vents your face area, and the bottom you can position to vent your body. Yeah, you no longer have to decide, oh, okay, you know, if I need to freshen my face a little bit, you know, or, you know, pick one or the other. Not in this case. Because you have those split vents, you're able to position it and stay cool in hot temperatures and stay warm in cold temperatures. So it's such a small thing, but when I experienced it, I'll go, whoa, this is a different, you know, AC system. It's such a small thing, but it was definitely one of my favorite things. Speaking about favorites though, the camera system. The camera system in this is incredible. And it's not just, I like to say it's more like an active camera system, because it's not just turn it on, you know, when you need it to, in the sense of pushing a button or when you're in reverse, that kind of thing. But when you use your blinker, it uses the mirror cameras to show you your blind spots right on your gauge cluster. Where you have your speedometer and your tachometer, those will get replaced with the feed of the camera. Why is it so difficult for other brands to do this? It's such a smart thing. I don't know if Kia's patented it, or, you know, they have something, you know, that doesn't allow others to use it, but that's one of my favorite things from Kia, Hyundai, Genesis systems that have that. It makes perfect sense. It's easy. You're not taking your eyes much off the road, and it gives you the option when you turn that blinker on, you can quickly see your blind spot, as well as still obviously use your mirror. But it's such a small detail to have that. And that's the crazy thing about this Kia Sorento, was all the little details really added up to make it a great package. Granted, it's not perfect. You know, we discussed some of the things that it can do with some change, but yeah, hopefully Kia, you guys, you know, change some of those big things that really didn't sell me on the Sorento, but otherwise, it's a really, really cool SUV, and yeah, really, really well done. Well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed my quick review of the 2022 Kia Sorento. And remember, find the right gear. See ya.